Hey guys, Heavy L60E here, back with another model review. This one will be of the Motorart L60E by Volvo. This wheel loader is, well, it's an older one. Not quite sure the year it came out, but I found this set at Volvo dealer, and they gave me a deal on it because it's the older one. It's not the G series, so I just picked it up for cheap. One thing I do like about this model, rather than the newer Volvo loaders of this size class that they came out with, was they do have the 3 attachments come with it, which is a huge plus, and something actually not a whole lot of models have. Like, I know the Cat 930Ks, 938Ks, or whatever they are, have them, but you don't see much of it. So anyways, what I'll do is I'll just show you guys the attachments real quick first, then we'll get to the loader. I'll move the loader out of the way first. So the attachments, you got your material handler. So you can see it's simple metal casting, and the got the little hook on there, so you could attach a chain to it, which is nice. The forks are all metal, which is another nice thing. I like the forks on this a lot. They're one thing you can't do is you can't move them from side to side. That is the only downfall, I think, with the forks on this model. And then you have the log grapple, which is something I really didn't expect to see, but anyways, your log grapple opens. One thing about this is it don't open very wide. Not bad, but it don't open that wide. And it does have cylinders to power it, and they are functioning, so that's nice. Okay, so on to the loader. Oh, and yeah, they're all casted in metal. So, anyways, on to the loader. Okay, so the loader is it's nice. The functionality's okay. The tires roll, they roll smoothly. The one thing, the biggest issue of the functionality on this model is, as you can see, it'll steer one way. It's limited, but it does steer a little bit that way. But when you try to go the other way, it's basically non-existent. It doesn't want to steer that way, but it'll go that way. But it won't do that, which is a pain. But that doesn't bother me a lot. So the arm is it'll go up. I'll zoom out a little bit. The arm goes up that high. Now again, like Motorart Volvos or Motorart models, of course, there is the problem with the cylinders. They don't have the strongest cylinders, so your bucket is raised that high, but it will fall. But one thing I will do is I will show you real quick a dump truck comparison, just because it's a good thing to know. So this is the Sword 357 with East Genesis dump body on it, and as you can see, it does clear it when you raise it up. It does clear the dump truck, which is nice. And the bucket, well, that's as far as the bucket will curl in, or curl, but that's okay. Well, it does curl back nicely though. Anyways, that's enough of the Sword. There will be a review of that truck as well in the near future. So you've seen that, but one thing I do like about it is you can pose it like that with the bucket curled back a little bit for traveling, that's a good thing. And with the forks, it works nicer. And yes, it does just pop off like that. The bucket, simple casting again. There's your teeth. And a little wear plate on the bottom. Just hooks over the top and clips into place. So that's the functionality of the model. And the rear axle has a nice bit of play in it. Anyways, so I'll get to the detail. So One thing about the detail on the model is there's a lot of plastic used, which it's good and bad. The plastic is not durable. It's very fragile. But one thing I find with plastic is it allows a little bit more flexibility with detail. It makes things a little bit more realistic, because a lot of manufacturers haven't really gone into, especially back when this model was made, they didn't really use much metal parts to make these models. So one thing is I'll use my pointer, a lot easier. Your working lights are painted, but they're plastic, of course. So they're plastic. The mirrors on the cab are plastic. Handrails all over are all plastic. And your stairs are plastic as well. And so is the platform outside the cab. One nice little thing is they did at least try and model the hydraulic lock, or the articulation lock system there. They highlighted that in red, which is good. The drive shaft does go through there, but that's about as basic as the detail goes for there. Paintwork is good. There's warning decals on the boom. All the major parts on the model are metal though, which is good. It's just basically the fine details that are plastic. So you got the decals, Volvo, L60E in your warning label. That's all for decals. The biggest, most fragile piece on the model, but I'm really glad they added it, is the work light and the beacon on top. That thing is, you can see it looks very fragile, but again, it's a plus they do add that onto the model, so it's a nice thing. So the grills on the model are just they're casted in. You can feel the texture, which is nice, and painted black, which is another plus because that adds a little bit more realism to the model. And on the back, looking at the rear, the counterweight, same idea. The grills are casted in. There's a little tiny hitch, which is nice. I like that Motorart adds that into their loader models. It's a little pin into the hitch there. The lights, the work lights, or the lights on the back of this model, which they are plastic inserts, which is, I find that more realistic than the paint and the stickers, which I'm really glad they used. So that's good. The exhaust is it has a minor it's hollow to an extent, which again is a nice touch. And you can see the lights on the back are painted, and the air cleaner is to scale by the looks of it. It's tiny, which is good, because if it's big it wouldn't make sense. And the stack, well, a little bit, I don't know, it looks, well, not really too sure. I haven't really seen many L60s, not many Volvos around here. So again, all these handrails are all plastic. Just be careful with them. And this whole piece is plastic. Just be careful with that as well. These little stairs on the back here, these are metal. They're casted in, I believe. Yeah, they are, I think. Feel like it. So the underside of the model just has Motorart 150 scale, made in China, and you can see the drive shaft, which is modeled. So anyways, on to the last part, really, of the model, will be the cab, of course. So what I'll do is I'll get you guys a cab view. This time I think this one should work out a lot better. There's your cab. So you got the steering wheel and the little shifter there on the steering wheel column to shift from forward, neutral, reverse, which is a nice thing to and park. Or no, that's just forward and reverse is on that. The seat inside there, you got your console on the right hand side. That's where your little joysticks are for moving the boom and the bucket, and just an armrest on this on the left side. You can probably see clear through there. Oh, sorry. You can just see straight in there. That's your cab detail. So it's not bad. It's not too bad. Anyways, like I said, like I keep dropping to pick. Anyways, one thing about Motorart, they have they do a nice job with their detail. I've never complained over their detail. Like I like Motorart models because my models just sit on my shelf. I don't use them, so they just sit there and they look good sitting there. So I don't mind buying Motorart Volvos or just any models with like plastic. I don't really consider that a factor when I buy models, so unless it's really bad. But if it has a moderate use of plastic, I'll just go ahead and buy it. It doesn't slow me down when I buy a model. Oh, and one thing I forgot, of course, was the detail on the tires. The wheels inside have bolt detail, and the tires they're hard rubber, but the tread is okay. I'm sure you guys have seen that throughout the video. Anyways, guys, showed you the functions, showed you the detail, and the attachments, of course. Line these back up here. And